Hello, your editor Daryl here. As you may remember from last week's episode, Morrus has a new puppy. His name is Hudson. He's named after the Colonial Marine from Aliens, and he is a very good boy. He is also a puppy, so you may frequently hear tapping or banging noises during the episode because he decided that microphone cables and mic stands were very good things to chew on. If you'd like more Hudson shenanigans, there's plenty in our Patreon backer-only bonus content episode available tomorrow on patreon.com/Morrus. With that warning out of the way, on with the show.
Visit Wolfgang von Sprinkletoe's Pyrotechnics for all your fireworks and other assorted fire-based entertainment devices. Choose from the world-famous Sprinkletoe's Explosive Badger, or from a wide range of rockets, blinkers, flares, mortars, bangers, squibs, comets, candles, shells, sparklers, flashes, bombs, busters, and glow sticks. I heartily recommend that you frequent this establishment, as Mr. Von Sprinkletoes owes me money after a rather large wager involving a garbletoad and one of Mrs. Cockle's left-handed knee breeches. I'd very much like him to pay me back, but his business is not doing well after he accidentally blew up Lord Mucklejoy's privy on New Year's Eve. That stuff gets everywhere.
All the tabletop role-playing news, we aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me this week is
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. Russ, it's a complete pleasure to be here.
So EN World has been down since last Thursday because we're doing some massive upgrades on it.
Yes.
Completely upgrading the message board system.
Well, yes, you basically got a large forum as part. It's not just a website; it's also a forum for people to discuss things.
Yes, yeah. So for those that know what this means, I imagine a lot of people won't, but we're going from vBulletin to Zen 4.0. So the vBulletin software we're using is well over a decade old. It no longer gets updates.
It's not supported by the manufacturers.
It's archaic.
Yes.
Whereas Zen 4.0 is a much more modern iteration of forum software.
Yeah.
So as of this moment now, it's basically the import is done and it's basically working.
Yes.
But now it just needs a whole lot of housekeeping on the new site just to tidy it up and tweak things and reformat things and make sure everything's looking good.
Yeah.
So
you're basically sort of refurbishing and like sprucing up the looks of EN World. So
yeah,
it's
the house has been built, and we're now just doing the interior decorating.
Yeah, marvellous.
All the data's imported, it's all there, everything's functional.
So you've got like over 20 years of archive.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, that's a lot of role playing discussion.
Yeah, that's why the import takes so long. It takes days to do.
Ah, I see. Yes, of course. I suppose at this point we should probably do something RPG related.
It is an RPG podcast.
I know, it seems like such a faff. Almost like we'd be repeating ourselves.
Should I tell you some news? How about that?
Oh, God.
How would you like that?
Yes, I'm sitting comfortably. I have a nice drink and I have a small puppy to rub its tummy. So,
yes. Okay then. Well, Gen Con.
Yes, Gen Con.
That little shindig.
Yes, that was. That's not news. That was like last week.
Somewhat unsurprisingly, Gen Con has reported growth, as every convention seems to do these days.
Well, that's good news.
It's a 12% growth, 70,000 unique visitors.
12%. Goodness.
I mean, they're all reporting this at the moment.
Where are all these new people coming from? It's awesome. Or presumably the general population.
I think there's a factory out in Ohio, in America.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And they manufacture gamers.
I see, yes.
That is a thing. That is definitely true.
Right, okay, well...
and you can't prove it's not.
No, fair enough. I'll just have to start instituting a check on the necks of all people coming to my role-playing game club and look for Made in the USA signs.
Yeah, so the ranking at the moment, Gen Con still in first place.
Yeah.
Essen Spiel second place. UK Games Expo third place.
Okay.
And Origins fourth place.
Ooh, nice.
And that's pretty much been consistent for the last 2 years now, that order.
Yes. So those are the major events in the Geek calendar, as far as we make out, and all growing year on year.
Yeah. Hey, we've got this map of Avernus.
Ooh.
So this map of Avernus,
yes,
Here it is. I can't actually click through to it because EN World is closed at the moment.
Okay, yes.
Due to upgrades. So this is the thumbnail, which I've just enlarged as large as I can.
I suppose that's technically news for 250,000 people.
Yeah, okay.
Which is that you're upgrading to a new forum. But yes, Avernus. Okay, so we've got like a big...
Yeah, so we've got the River Styx running through the middle of it. I assume that's what that is. And then we've got various locations. So for what I've read, what happened was, rather than them giving the cartographer instructions on what to put on it, the cartographer came up with all these different things, like this little,
there's
flamey
like
bits here and
fire.
down there. And then they came in afterwards and named them all and, decided, right, what is this spiky hill, sort of thing, and made it up based sort of that way around. So it's kind of cool. It's an interesting art style there.
Yeah.
And apparently...
it's quite sort of medieval period, but also with a touch of a Hieronymus Bosch in there.
Yeah, but also they said time and distance don't work. So
of course.
Just because two things look like they're next to each other doesn't necessarily mean that they are. And that the cartographer who did this, when attempting to map Avernus, lost his mind.
Yeah, makes sense.
The fictional cartographer in the game, as opposed to the real cartographer who wishes the coast tired.
Well, we hope not. Yeah. That would be unfortunate.
That would be unfortunate, yeah.
So it's more of a things you can see in Avernus.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that will doubtless be released as a pull-out map with some perforations. In my experience of Wizards of the Coast stuff.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
just so you can have a look at it. And
hey, Wil Wheaton.
Yes.
I'm not calling you Wil Wheaton.
I'm not Wil Wheaton.
No, you are definitely not. I can tell you're not Wil Wheaton. Do you know how I can tell you're not Wil Wheaton?
Because I'm on this podcast.
There's the hat.
Bang.
We'll just go with that, actually. Yeah.
People who won't be seen on this podcast, Wil Wheaton.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he would not want to go on our podcast.
He might.
He's more than welcome to, but...
Anyway, if you're listening, Wil Wheaton, and we're sure you are, you're very welcome
the odds on him listening are slim to none.
Oh, you never know. He might just be bored at work. Oh.
Anyway, he is suing Geek and Sundry.
Yes. What's it? Not lost wages, but he's like wants royalties or something, doesn't he?
Yeah. So Titan's Grave, the Ashes of Vulcana,
Yeah.
One of those three things.
Yeah.
Was a web series he made with Geek and Sundry.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And it later became a RPG fantasy age, I think, powered campaign setting.
Oh, okay.
Through Green Ronin.
Yes.
Which is the role playing connection there.
Yes.
It was an actual play web show.
Yes. Yeah.
It was quite narrative and. It was just like the one season. I can't remember how many, like 8 episodes or something, maybe, I don't know.
Not a huge amount of material then.
So this is season 1. But he's suing Geek and Sundry over, apparently, well, he's suing them for $100,000.
Wow, okay.
In LA.
Yes.
Over, they're not letting him audit their books, and he's got a sort of percentage, 50% of the net profits he's supposed to be receiving, and he says he hasn't been receiving that. I
see. So they're not letting him check how much money he owed.
Yeah, well, he's also asked for a court order for an audit of the book, so he can do that.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure he'd be very disappointed if he was not receiving any money because there was no money to be had.
Well, from what I can make out, he got $50,000 as a upfront.
Yeah,
I think, and then on top of that, he was supposed to get 50% of the net profits or something like that. And it's the latter part. And also, they made some decisions without consulting him. And in the contract, he was supposed to be consulted because I think they, when I think it was when something like Legendary Entertainment bought Geek and Sundry.
Yeah.
They started making some distribution decisions and stuff like that without consulting with him.
Which he's contractually obliged to be consulted on. Well, to be fair, I mean, that does sound like reasonable things to sue people over because if you don't assert your contractual rights, then
yeah,
what's the point in having them?
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, it's obviously not like the best thing. We can only hope they manage to resolve it all amicably.
Hopefully, we shall see. Nice. Well, do you like Mad Max?
I think it's fair to say I've been to the Thunderdome. I definitely very much enjoy Fury Road. It's one of my exemplars of pacing in storytelling.
So you're a fan, you would say, of post-apocalyptic vehicular mayhem.
Yes, I think that'd be a reasonable thing to say. Yeah, enjoy a good car crash as much as the next person.
Because there's a game called Devil's Run coming.
Oh yeah,
and there's a quick start available. Now, guess who's producing this game called Devil's Run? It's a company that produces very few products.
Very few products.
Or all the products. One of those two things.
So Modifius.
It is by Modifius.
Oh, yes, excellent. And how did you find this out? Was this their 1 o'clock press release?
Yes, it was a press release.
Yes. But the 1 o'clock one, not the 12 o'clock one.
yeah. So, this is called Devil's Run, and there's 3 quick start rules for the RPG.
Okay.
They describe it as post-apocalyptic vehicular mayhem.
Yeah.
And let me call it up, and you can have a look at some of the lovely art, because I do like the art for this. So look, so it's set in America.
Oh, that is you've got sort of your basic dust storm, and then
My iPad page was frozen. Hang on a sec.
And then you have the bikes racing away from it.
And then we've got a Fast and Furious style tanker robbery going on down there.
You know we are a good tanker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes, the Devil's Run role-playing game thrusts you
Yes.
full throttle into a post-apocalyptic world
Yes.
of motorised mayhem and carnage.
Yeah.
It's powered by 2D20
Oh yes. Yeah.
and Savage Worlds Suede. What's Suede?
Savage Worlds Adventure Edition.
Okay. And they fuel the carnage in a setting based on the popular board game with the same name.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, that does sound interesting.
Sounds fun. It's basically Mad Max with the series.
Oh, so there's 2D20 and there's also a Savage Worlds edition.
Yeah,
okay. That makes sense. Yes.
I am led to believe that is the case.
Yeah, well, it sounds pretty good.
What do you think of people playing D&D in prison?
I think it's a good way to encourage lots of socialisation. But I didn't think they were allowed to, because they weren't allowed to have proper dice or anything like that.
I don't know how it is over here.
Yes.
No idea. But in America, it varies from state to state, apparently.
Oh yes, yeah.
So there's a documentary up on Kickstarter, and it's called Let's Play the Story of Dungeons and Dragons in Prison. And it tells the little-known stories of inmates and former inmates, and they go to great lengths to play tabletop role-playing games like D&D. Like they handcraft D20s and from soap and cardboard and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And they have to improvise a lot.
Yes, I imagine there'll be a lot of improvisation.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is on Kickstarter. Fortunately, Kickstarter doesn't look like it's doing all that well.
Oh, that's a shame.
Let's have a look.
It sounds like a really interesting sociological take on things, and just finding out how people can get a hobby that is vaguely normal.
Yeah, well, it's a $60,000 goal.
Okay.
It's got 56 hours to go, and it's made $31,496. So it's only halfway there with 2 days left.
Oh, not the best of news.
So by the time people hear this, it will probably be very, very close to over.
Yes.
And I hope they make it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the rewards like for the Kickstarter?
Let's have a look. The rewards. You get a digital copy of the documentary for $25.
Okay, sounds good.
For $40, you'll get your name on the documentary. Yeah. On the credits, I guess. $50, a DVD copy of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For $75, this is interesting because it's not so much a reward you get.
Yes.
They will donate gaming materials to a prison inmate.
Oh, that's quite sweet.
I think that's quite cool.
Yeah.
And for $100, a gaming module designed by inmates. It will be written and drawn behind bars.
Okay, that's... Okay, I'm not quite sure I stand on that. That seems like a bit odd, but okay. But yes,
Well, I think people having creative outlets in prisons is probably a good idea. I don't know. I'm not an expert on criminology or prisons or anything like that, but I suspect it's a good thing.
Some rehabilitation is definitely worthwhile. Ooh. Yes.
Would you like to see the One Ring Collector's Edition?
Oh, go on then.
It's very nice. I haven't played the One Ring, although I have the One Ring.
Yes.
But I have played Adventures in Middle-earth.
Yes.
Which is the D&D 5th edition version of it.
Okay, what did you think of that?
I think probably I should have played the One Ring. I suspect that the One Ring does Tolkien better than D&D does. D&D does D&D really well.
D&D does do D&D very well.
Adventures in Middle-earth was great.
Yeah.
I just feel like I just felt when I was playing it, I just kept thinking, I probably should have been playing the One Ring because it was designed from the ground up specifically to do that whole Tolkien kind of feel.
Yeah, I mean, can you really... I mean, is the One Ring, is that basically meant to let you play through Lord of the Rings? Because...
No, not that story, but in that world.
Oh.
But Tolkien's stories are very, very journey-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So One Ring has massive support for long overland wilderness journeys.
Yes.
That being not the way you get to the adventure, but that in a Tolkien story often being the adventure.
That is something I'm 100% alongside, yeah.
Yeah, so the One Ring, they developed lots and lots of support for that. They translated that over to D&D 5th edition, and it works pretty well there too.
Okay.
So if you wanted to just crib some journey rules...
Oh, yes, that could be good.
It might be worth taking a look at Adventures in Middle-earth.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, back to the One Ring Collector's Edition. This is what the cover looks like. Look, it's like this sort of dark greenish cover with this sort of ring of what looks like elven script in the middle, just in a circle.
Yeah, it's like a...
Very, very minimalist.
Yeah, very, very almost black, and then on the borders as well you have more sort of like silvery / ivory elven decoration and embroidery.
That noise in the background, by the way, is Hudson, not us.
Yeah, we just like to say.
In case the listeners are wondering.
Yeah.
So it says, so it has a slipcase, which is adorned with the map of Middle-earth.
Yeah.
Then the cover itself is bound in leather, emblazoned with the One Ring script, which is picked out in silver foil stamped Tengwar. What's Tengwar?
Tengwar is the Elvish script.
Okay. And the back cover features the translated poem, also in the silver foil stamp, which is the whole, one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and...
In the darkness behind them.
Yes, and the back, again, is really minimalistic. It's just that on the back.
Yeah. Yes,
It's really nice.
It's very much going for a very light look to it. Oh, and there's some beautiful art in there.
The art is gorgeous, yeah.
Yes, definitely leaning into the Lord of the Rings Collector's Edition illustrated version.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the cover of the standard edition before, haven't we?
Yes, yeah.
Which is gorgeous. This is, of course, the One Ring second edition, which is now, the full title now has the Lord of the Rings in it, which it didn't have before.
That's true.
So before it was just called the One Ring.
That is true.
And now it's called the One Ring, the Lord of the Rings role-playing game.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So people have
just in case people didn't quite get it, I guess.
Yeah. They're like, the One Ring, what's that got to do with anything?
I wonder if there's a licensing reason, or I don't know. Who knows?
It might well be a licensing thing.
Jason Bulmahn.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the Pathfinder 2e character sheet, which we said looked a bit like a tax form?
We said it was a tax form that looked a bit like a character sheet.
All right, fair enough. So Jason Bulmahn decided to have a crack at making a minimalist version of the character sheet.
Oh, yeah.
And he posted this on Twitter.
Yeah.
And here it is. This is what he came up with.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
It's got a certain handwritten charm.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously sort of done by hand.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a lot simpler than the actual big one.
Yeah. But it's
still got quite a bit on it.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, that actually looks quite usable, actually, so yeah. 10 proficiency plus dex. Has he allowed for... He's not allowed for level with AC, it doesn't look like. Because, look, he's got... For the AC, it's got 10 plus pro plus dex plus item.
Does that have level?
Yeah, you add level to...
Sure?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I remember that being quite... That's one of the things about it. It's moving away from bounded accuracy with 5th edition, and it's just going for Pathfinder's numbers will get big, but then the rest of the game is supposed to be balanced around that. So.
Actually, Hudson, stop doing that because I was going to just echo through the microphone. I bet on the recording that's just really loud.
Yeah, let's just move you over here. Okay, there you go. Right. Oh, yeah.
That's about it for the news.
Oh, okay. That was quick.
It was quick. Well, partly because there may actually be more news that I haven't been collecting because the NWorld's been down, which is what I normally look at to get the news. So,
yeah. Yes, the World is good for all your RPG related news needs.
So I suspect next week,
yes,
our news section might be sort of a bit longer than usual.
It might well be.
To catch up on any that I might have missed this week.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the new site being up.
Yes. I'm sure it will look extremely fancy. I shall have to give it a go. And potentially there could be a UK role-playing game.
I've put it on there. It's currently empty. We will have to see whether or not it gets used. But if it gets used, I'll leave it there. So basically, when EN World comes back, go to the forums. There's a forum called UK Role-Playing.
Yeah.
And anyone can post in there. You don't have to be in the UK, but I suspect it will be of limited use to people who are not. And people, they're free to post in there about anything UK role-playing, or even generally tabletop gaming related.
It'd be really useful to find out about conventions that are happening in the UK, and a good way for people to advertise new conventions that are
as we're talking at the moment, it's utterly empty. There's not even a single thread in there. So
but
we'll have to see if people use it or not.
Yeah. Okay, well, now I know it exists, so I can go and have a look. I could be first at something.
You could be the first.
Oh, wow. Best of times.
That'd be amazing.
Yes.
Would you rather either never be able to say yes or never be able to say no?
Ooh, awkward.
And that's not just the word, it's the concept. So you can't reword yes into something else.
I think I'd rather be unable to say no, because my general policy is to embrace new and different things. For instance, I was at a wedding the other day, and they kept saying, "Would you like some more wine?"
And you said yes.
Yes.
But what if they said, "Would you like some cyanide?"
I'd say yes, but I don't have to take the cyanide. I would have made sure to save some for you, Russ.
What if someone said, "Can I have all of your money?"
Yes, but you have to give me all your money in exchange.
So you go with the yes but strategy to mitigate it.
Yes, but and yes and.
Clever.
Yes, it's almost like I'm a GM.
Stop chewing that, Hudson.
Oh, Hudson, please don't chew the table.
No, don't chew the table.
Are you just a chewy dog? Are you just a chewy boy? Are you a chewy boy? Are you a chewy boy? Are you a chewy boy?
Yeah, it's like, rile him up. Get him excited.
Yeah. So, Russ, which would you rather? Never be able to use the word or concept no, or never be able to use the word or concept yes? Nope. Bad. Nope. Nope. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah.
I think I'd have to go with you.
You'd rather get rid of the concept of no.
Yeah, for maintaining that yes but.
Hudson?
Power.
Yeah. That's an excellent choice, sorry.
As long as we're agreeing that's not cheating.
As long as we're agreeing that's not cheating.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's our game to make rules to go along.
Fair enough.
But what if it was cheating? Would you rather than be unable
that's
to
more
say...
difficult. I think probably not being able to say yes is then probably the safer bet. Otherwise, someone could just go, "Do you want to jump off a cliff or something?" and you've got to do it.
Well,
I suppose if it's just not being able to say the word, it's a little different to not. If it's just not being able to say the word, then I'm happy to say the word yes, as long as it's not binding.
Yeah, it would make it awkward. It just depends upon whether you then have to follow through on the action. You see, there's a lot of different things which you have to take into consideration.
Alright, we're going to try out my new realism house rule for D&D. Okay, Bob, it's your turn.
Right, I swing my axe at the troll. Take that, you green smelly beast.
Right, so first I need to know whether you're going for a high, middle or low swing, and I'll be counteracting that with the troll's high, middle or low parry.
High, of course. I want to cut his head clean off.
Of course you do. So, high cut, countered by a middle parry, gives you a +2 to your attack roll. Now, what angle are you striking at?
Angle?
Yeah. Is this a horizontal cut, or are you coming in at a 30-degree angle from above? I need to know the angle of your cut.
Well, like 20 degrees?
20 degrees? Are you sure about that?
Yes. Should I not be?
Well, bear in mind that the troll is 2 feet taller than you and standing 1.5 feet to the left of your centre line.
And that's bad, is it?
Well, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I'd go for 35 degrees at least.
Right. Okay, if you say so. 35 degrees it is.
Now, I need to know the weight of your axe and your strength score.
Pardon?
Yeah, it's all about the strength to weight ratio, you see.
Well, my battle axe weighs £4 and my strength is 16.
Right, so £4 multiplied by the angular coefficient, add in a wind resistance adjustment, divide by the square root of your strength. You're standing on a slight hillock, are you not?
If you say so.
Right, so that 35-degree angle needs adjusting as the hillock is 9 inches high. In total, it looks like you have a plus 3.865 bonus to your damage.
Well, that's nice. So +2 to hit and plus 3.865 to damage. I guess that gets rounded up to +4?
No, of course not. I use a very accurate damage system down to 3 decimal places. Now, that's affected by the slime from the swamp, which makes the troll a little slippery.
Slippery.
Yeah, slippery.
And slippery is a bad thing.
Well, that depends on whether you're the hitter or the hittee.
Clearly, I'm the hitter.
Yes, so it's a bad thing.
You could have just said that.
I just did. Right, so we have 4 millimetres of slime covering the troll, and this is swamp mud, which, according to this new supplement, Quagmire's and Swampland, a tome of sludge, slush and slime, has a 62% slime index. So if I factor that into your damage coefficient, that gives you a final total of plus 2.612 damage.
Right, finally. Can I please just roll to attack now?
In a minute. First, the troll gets a chance to dodge.
Oh, for goodness sake. Look, this detailed combat system is ridiculous.
Ridiculously awesome, you mean? Yeah, I know. I think it will revolutionise D&D combat.
It will revolutionise something, mate.
Even Darwin and Galileo were mocked in their time. You'll see.
Can I please make my attack?
Right, yes. Off you go then.
Thank you. Okay, I roll 14.
On a D20.
Yeah.
Oh no, my friend. A D20 is not nearly granular enough for this system.
Fine. What would you like me to roll?
Roll D100, please.
47.
47. That's with your +2. Versus the troll's adjusted melee slashing armour class of 61. That's a miss, mate.
Well, I stopped caring about 20 minutes ago.
Well, now it's the troll's turn. Now he's slashing with his claws.
I can't face this combat system. I'm going to run away instead.
Fine. In that case, I'll need your character's inner thigh length, current footwear and dexterity score while I check the angle of the sun and the prevailing weather conditions. Now, would you say you're backing away cautiously, making a dash for it, sidestepping, or just turning your back?
And which one would you say will get this game over with quickest?
So,
Yes.
topic for this week
Yes?
is rules you can steal for your game.
Oh, fantastic.
So what I thought this would be they'd have to be fairly simple things that you can grab for another game and incorporate into a different system without major surgery. So I'm not sort of like, the entire combat system from this game and stick it in your D&D game, because that doesn't work. But you could sort of say the initiative system from here, you could...
Okay. It's not a bad shout, All right.
So,
which I've got some ideas already. What do you think?
well, should we just alternate then?
Yeah, go on then. I think advantage, disadvantage, and the concept of bennies are very worthwhile.
Yes.
Obviously, they've got many advantages. For those who are unaware, advantage is, as I've seen it implemented in a number of different ways, but generally it's you roll an extra dice of the same kind, and then you take the best result. And disadvantage, of course, is you take an extra dice and you take the worst result. It depends on whether you're likely or unlikely to succeed. I think I've seen it in 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, where you roll an extra one of the 10s percentile dice.
Yeah.
And whether it's good or bad, that's what you do.
Famously, it's in D&D 5th edition.
Yes. Although, as Ash Law would remind us, it was also first proposed in 13th Age for the Barbarian to attack.
Okay.
But 5th edition made it general, and what I particularly liked was they used the concept of giving advantage as a way to reward good role-playing. Which...
The inspiration mechanic.
Precisely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, my one, I've got a list of them here. I want to start with travel montages.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, a few different games do this, but 13th Age, I think, really kind of doubles down on it quite well.
That's probably the first place I came across it, yeah.
So, a travel montage is, depending on the implementation you're using, basically, if you've got to get from A to B,
Yeah.
Rather than the traditional way of sort of rolling random encounters and that sort of thing, you sort of go around the table and you ask players to just sort of like add to the sort of montage of the story of your journey. Just to sort of give it a bit of a context and make you feel like you've had a journey by the time you get to the end of it.
Yeah.
So the first player, you might say to the first player, tell me something that happens on the journey.
Oh yes, a bit like we did with Kevin Culp last week. Choose a complication. So one person chooses the complication for the travel. For instance, there's a bridge with slats missing.
Yep.
Then another person throws in something like, what was it? I think you said sharks. And then a third person suggests a way that you overcome this obstacle, or you can actually just role play through doing it. But
yeah. I think it's a nice, neat little thing, and you could just like stick that into a D&D game really easily, or pretty much any system, really super easy.
I would probably bring up interludes, which again I first encountered using Savage Worlds, and that is similar but different to a travel montage. In that, what happens is when you're having a bit of a downtime period, then you give players a chance to roleplay, which they might not have done otherwise if it's been a particularly hectic or combat-filled situation. So the way I've seen that implemented is you have a table which has like a variety of different things, and then you draw a card, and depending on the suit, it's like, is it about you, or is it about someone else, is it your past, or like a dream you had, or something like that. And then, according to the number or the face card, it gives you like other things, and you improvise a small story about it that would be relevant to your character. And then you just basically go around and people tell stories about that, and that's quite a nice way to spend some time.
Okay, well, my next one is the escalation die.
Yes.
13th Age, which I always think is a really, really, really good way of making sure that combat approaches a climax rather than fizzles out in a sort of sludge of whittling away at hit points.
Oh, absolutely. It makes mopping up very quick, but also it means that the first instinct isn't just to go and say, hey, you know what this needs? It needs fireball.
Yeah. So
as your first round.
So the way the escalation die works is at the beginning of the combat, you put a die down and it has the one facing up.
Yep.
And each round you turn it, so then it's the 2, then it's the 3 and stuff like that. And everybody gets those bonuses to their attack rolls. Well, the players do, not the monsters.
Yeah.
Those bonuses to their attack rolls. So as the combat goes on, you start the combat with the players, the PCs, sort of on a back foot. And as the combat goes on, that bonus for them gets higher and higher. So they get more competent rather than less competent as the combat goes on.
Precisely.
And the effect that has is A, it shortens combat.
Yes.
B, it makes sure that you don't nova at the beginning of the combat. What happens is it ends in a climax as you nova.
Yes.
With your biggest stuff, because you're waiting for the bonus to get bigger.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And C, it totally gets rid of what I think D&D 4th edition was most
infamous for.
Was probably the worst for, is that bit where you've run out of all your big stuff and you're chipping away with your little at-will powers at a massive bag of hit points for ages.
Yeah.
And
it's not boring. They're not going to win the fight, and you're definitely not going to lose, but you're still like just basically stuck there rolling dice for a long time. Yeah, well, obviously to implement that into your game, you do need to make sure that you up the monster's defense values slightly, because otherwise it will make them a little bit too easy to hit.
Yeah. What's your next one then?
Well, I would have to go probably with miss damage.
Okay, damage on a miss.
I know, it can be controversial.
It is a controversial one, that.
But I really like it because I think one of the most disheartening things that can happen to a player is you've been in a combat, and due to the look of the dice, you've had 0 effect for the entire game.
Yeah.
So miss damage, it's just like it really is very minimal. But
maybe you should just be better at D&D.
Well, yeah, I should be better at rolling dice. Is the problem? It's a tricky one. But I quite like it. The way I would import it in, say, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is I would allow for you do proficiency bonus divided by 2, and then it's pretty minimal. It's tier related and it doesn't do a lot, but at least you've done something.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just a psychological difference between that and a complete whiff.
Okay, I'm going to go with countdown dice, which is from my own game.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I do quite like that as well.
It's one of my favourite creations. So countdown dice is when you take a pool of D6s,
Yep.
and the larger the pool of D6s, the longer the countdown is.
Yep.
And it's used in situations where you've got like a ticking clock or some kind of countdown, but you don't know exactly when it's going to take place. So maybe you're trying to defuse a bomb,
Yep.
or escape or climb a cliff before it collapses, or anything that has an undeterminate length of time.
Yeah, or get in games which I've run, it's like, well, I want to see how long it's going to take the Serpent God of the Night to wake up.
Yeah.
Let's roll a countdown dice, and for the players, every time it hits initiative count 20, off you go, chaps.
Or
Roll some
you
of these
can
dice.
use it for illnesses.
Yeah.
Counting down towards death. It makes
Yep.
quite a good death-dying rule, because you don't know exactly when you're going to die. So the way it works is you take your pool of dice, so
Yep.
say what for this particular countdown is 4d6.
Yep.
You roll 4d6.
Yep.
Any sixes, you take them out of that pool.
Yep.
And then the next time you roll what's left. So say there was 1 6, you take that out, and there's only 3d6 now you're rolling. And you keep doing that until there's no dice left, and that's when the countdown expires, and that's when the bomb explodes, or the cliff crumbles, or you die, or whatever happens.
Yes, something major does happen.
Yeah.
And it's quite hard on your nerves as a GM because you're not used to being out of control.
Okay, what's your next one?
Ooh, my next one following countdowns, which I have used to great effect. What I really enjoy is the pre-start roleplay of connecting various people together.
Okay.
And that's something that I just basically, I use that as standard in pretty much any session I'm running, which is where I go around and give them like a little thing, like if I'm doing 5th edition D&D, I give them advantage or something, inspiration rather, just so that they've got something to do and just so that they all know each other and there's a connection between all of them, just because it helps avoid the whole...
So how do you just sort of say, how do you know this character, or how do you implement it?
Why do you know and like this person?
Yeah, okay.
And that's important because I have seen people say, oh, well, they tried to steal something off me, so now I'm here to kill them all. And that's not really the sort of game I want to run.
So do you just do it like each character has to know one other character?
Yes, and they're not allowed to know the same character.
Yeah. Okay.
So they will have to walk around. And generally it goes off with the person most confident says they know someone. And then by the time you've got round to the end, they're able to discuss it between them.
Okay.
Yeah, that works well.
Okay, my next one would be failing forward.
Oh, failing forward is amazing.
It's a general concept. It's in loads and loads of games. But failing forward is the sort of antidote to you walk up to the dungeon.
Yeah.
There's a locked door. What do you do? I tried to pick the lock. I failed. Oh. Or a perception check, which you fail, and then the GM's trying to work out ways to make you still see the thing because it's information that the game needs to continue. So fail forward, basically. I mean, I know you know this, but is you can fail the effect.
Yep.
The adventure still moves forward.
Yes.
It's just that with a complication.
Yeah, that's definitely a way it can be done. Other ways I've seen it done is generally for murder mysteries, like the gumshoe system, is you get the clue, but the better you succeed on the roll, the more context you have added to the clue. So like, you get like little pieces of information that go with it.
Yeah.
But you have to. But even on a failure, especially on a failure, you work out, well, if they fail, this is the minimum information they get, which will still allow the adventure to proceed.
One sort of place where I've used fail forward is in the travel rules for my game.
Oh, yeah.
Because basically you never want the PCs to fail to travel to the adventure. I mean, that kind of defeats the point. So the fail forward thing is if you fail, you still get there, but you might end up being fatigued when you get there.
Absolutely.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Or another thing might be you're trying to pick a lock and sneak into a dungeon. If you fail the check, you still get in, but you alert the guards.
Or you set off a trap.
Yeah.
We didn't notice the trap or something. Yeah, no.
That's how fail forward basically works.
It's a excellent mechanic and definitely worthwhile, including has an approach to a game.
So what's your next one?
I really like things like card draw initiative.
Okay.
Which is basically straight from Savage Worlds, but you pass around. You have a deck of playing cards, and you pass them around the table, and whoever's got the highest card, aces high, Spades, hearts, diamonds, clubs is the way they go with it. I don't know, reverse alphabetical. But as long as you're consistent, it doesn't really matter. And then you choose to go that way. And every new turn, you re-deal cards. And that means that there's not a very predictable, very fixed initiative order. Which, can add a certain amount of excitement to the game. And as long as people are paying attention, that does work quite nicely.
Well, sticking with initiative, I've got 2 initiatives on my list. 2 types of initiative.
2 initiatives? Go on then.
So the first one is Pathfinder 2 initiative.
Okay, yeah.
I've been using since the playtest because I really like it. And that's the one where basically, instead of just rolling like a dexterity plus modifier type thing, you roll a skill and the skill is relevant to what you're doing.
Yes.
So it might be a perception skill, it might be a stealth skill, it might be a sort of diplomacy skill.
Yeah.
As long as it makes sense, you can use pretty much any skill for initiative.
That does sound like it makes a lot of sense, and I think I definitely want to include that, but I sort of that would be more of a home game thing for me because that's deviating quite a bit further from rules as written than I normally would. But no, it's a very strong choice, and I definitely like the advantage it gives to having a wise character, and it makes dexterity less of the god stat that it normally is in most games.
Well, the other initiative that I have is what's sort of commonly called popcorn initiative.
Oh, yes.
And so I think it was a Marvel game, and it's in Gumshoe.
Okay.
Basically, each player, once they've had their go, they name who the next player is, next person to go in initiative is. And so there's a little bit of tactics to it, because if you just go all your guys first, then you get this whole thing where it's all the monsters.
Yes, and then they get another second round.
Yeah.
So all the monsters choose all the monsters.
And then choose themselves again. So there's a little bit of tactics going on where you do try and spread it out a little bit.
Yes.
And it does make for... It's quicker to slip into than having to stop and roll initiative, or stop and draw cards, or stop and do this.
Yes.
It's just like the GM goes, right, you're first. There's always a player first, isn't it?
Yeah.
He goes, right, you're first, and then you name who goes next.
I think you roll off to see who goes first. I'm not sure actually. And one of the most important things about that, of course, is you can't delay. You can't hold your action. You have to then you have to choose what you're doing at that time.
It's very, very simple and elegant.
Yeah, no, it's quite nice.
I mean, the one thing it doesn't do is none of your stats matter to initiative anymore.
Yes.
I imagine some people won't like so much, especially if they're the type of people that like to invest in
certainly
stats that make them a fast character.
If I'd taken a high initiative fighter and I'd taken the alert feat to get my +5 to initiative, and then someone pulls that out, I'm going to be giving you a distinct amount of squint eye.
Yeah.
Unless I get to go first all the time, anyway.
But if you know in advance not to do that...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those things. You have to agree that this is a variation that you're using in advance.
Yeah. What's your next one, then?
Oh, my next one, that would have to be... I quite like not rolling for damage.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's like I'm expecting the pitchforks and so forth to be coming out after me, but I'm entirely okay with that because I don't actually like rolling for damage. I'd just rather have a static value because it makes the game go faster.
It does.
And when I want to do a combat or something, there's a lot of combat lag, I call it, which is you've been playing a fast-paced game, then a fight happens and everything just slows to a grinding halt. And I find that it's it's the amount of interactions. It's like if you can just roll the dice and say, I do this, then you can have more time spent on describing actions, you can have more time spent on doing stuff. But for a lot of people, I know, and sometimes I feel that way myself, rolling a big fistful of dice for damage, it's very satisfying, a lot of fun.
What you can do is just choose when you roll it. So basically, if it's a really big fight with crap loads of combatants, then you could do it that way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if it's just a small fight and there's just one bad evil guy, it might be more fun to roll the damage for the bad evil guy because it's just one of them.
Ooh, yeah, that adds a bit of swing to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a nice idea. I've generally used it when I'm running D&D because the monsters have a fixed value.
Well, they do that anyway in the stat blocks.
Yeah. So I'm they've got a fixed value, I'm going to use that. I can't, it just removes one more step, one more calculation for me.
The only thing for that for me is it maybe feels a little predictable at times when you know exactly how much damage a goblin's going to do to you every single time.
Yeah, but that's if the goblin hits. And of course then you have that 5% chance on every roll of a critical.
Yeah, true.
And if you're just straight up doubling it, which I do, I do acknowledge that does make crits a bit meatier than it might otherwise be, but I'm okay with that.
Fair enough. My next one is Gumshoe's Preparedness.
Ooh, tell me more.
Which, Kevin mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Basically, rather than having a great big itemised list of stuff,
Yeah.
and rather than having arguments like, well, it's obvious my character would have pants on.
Nah.
Well, it's not on your character sheet. So rather than having that sort of conversation, you have a preparedness score.
Yeah.
And this can work differently in different games.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a score which you roll on to see if you've got something.
Yes.
So if you want to know whether or not you've got a lantern, it's not on your character sheet or anything. You just go, oh, I roll preparedness. Oh, yes, I have got a lantern.
Yeah. Also, you see that in Blades in the Dark as well. It's a very strong mechanic. I do like it.
Yeah. And then you get deviations on that because, as Kevin was describing with Gumshoe, when he uses that in Time Watch, preparedness morphs slightly into a, this is something I will have done.
Oh yes,
using time so you
when you have time travel, everything looks like a Bill
and Ted adventure.
A Bill and Ted adventure, or it was a pickup truck full of bear traps.
Yes. So you can get different variations on preparedness.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really useful little thing if you don't want to track, equipment.
Oh, absolutely. I think it depends on the flavour of your game.
Yeah.
I'm super into my exploration games at the moment. So I've been doing it for like the past 3 weeks, so I'm going to say Pathfinder to the bulk rules. I really like those things. They really work for me. It just makes you can count it all out, you can do everything, and if the players decide that they want to loot a bunch of bodies, then actually you can really quickly do it. And I like it. It's super quick. It's 10 light items makes 1 bulk. You've got a number of it, and if it's less than that, then it's not worth counting. Which really grasps the essentials of what an encumbrance system should be about. Is it worth counting? I mean, I will acknowledge that the mouse guard system of if you can draw your character carrying it, then that's absolutely fine.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, yes. If you can, I'm told, I haven't seen it myself, but if you can draw your a picture of your little mouse carrying that item upon its person, then you can have that on your character. I think that's just like an excuse to have lots of excellent mouse art, and I can't really argue. It sounds very cute. And people are also very fond of slot-based systems. I actually try and stay away from those because whilst they would be effective, I feel that makes it quite computer gamey.
Yeah.
And it just means that how do you deal with the fact that you've got like a big old bag of chalk and so forth? How big should these be? But but I know roughly how much, like say, a Hudson would weigh, which is between 1 and 5 pounds. So I could carry 10 Hudsons upon my person. That would only be 1 bulk.
Well, he's actually 4 kilograms.
4 kilograms?
4 kilograms, which is like 8 pounds.
That is 8 pounds.
Uh-huh.
So he's bulk 1. I might have to add him up to bulk 2 because he looks like he'd be very wriggly.
Whereas Django was 35 kilograms.
Right, and that's getting on for bulk 2, bulk 3 there because I imagine Django would probably have been quite happy for us to carry him around.
Probably, yeah.
He'd be like, oh, well, you're carrying me around, suckers.
So I guess that's what's happening now.
This is my life, I accept it.
Yeah, that's Django.
Yeah.
Right, my last one
on
my list was DCC Funnels. Dungeon Crawl Classics. Christ, that's hard to say.
Just
Dungeon
say
Crawl Funnels.
So tell me more about DCC Funnels.
So you start off with a whole bunch of basically 0 level characters.
Yeah.
And they all go on this sort of adventure. And most of them die. And the one that you're left with at the end is the one that becomes your first level character.
So basically, it's like they go through a little adventure. Oh, I see. So it's sort of funneling them down.
Yeah.
So you start with 4 people, and only 1 can survive.
And then it turns out the story is about the one that survived.
Right. Okay.
Which is quite a good way of just sort of like messing around with sort of, 4 or 5 different character concepts and seeing what you end up with.
I certainly can't argue with that.
What else you got on there?
Another thing, I've just basically stolen whole piles of this stuff from 13th Age. So
13th Age is full of stuff, though.
Full of 8.
It's hard not to steal stuff from 13th Age.
It's full of good ideas. Okay, so I'll skip over the joys of static defences like MD, PD, AC, Utility spells I really do love, but they'd be hard to steal for a game. Well, I suppose you could maybe steal it. Yeah. Flexible attacks, where you get a different function happening depending on what number you roll on dice is. I think what I quite enjoyed probably the most from Exalted 2nd Edition is social attacks.
Okay.
Which is where you spend some time talking to someone, trying to find out what their motivations are, like what's their prime drivers behind their personality, which every character should have, and then you could launch a social attack upon them, and if you could basically roleplay a speech, adding in the various different motivations that they had, you could then roll dice and see how effective it would be. Which I think, actually that's quite fun.
So I think Kevin last week was talking about, what was he calling them? I can't remember his terminology, but he was talking about that.
Okay,
in Swords of the Serpentine.
Oh, yes.
I've got them in What Sword Is New. You have a resolve score as well as a health score, which is basically your sort of mental hit points.
Oh, yes, that's right. He was saying
you can intimidate or charm people down with that.
You could break their fighting spirit.
Yeah. So it's a cool idea, and I definitely nixed that for my game without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
In D&D, I suppose you could just literally just call it psychic damage, maybe.
Yeah.
Mental damage.
I think one of the.
Would you have a separate pool, or would you just take it off hit points?
One of the things that I saw was a very good idea was renaming hit points to composure.
Okay.
And you're like looking at me saying, "What on earth difference does that make?" And actually, it's quite a good way to do it.
It changes the way you think about it.
Yeah. And basically, you become. Rather than say bloodied, you become like dishevelled at half hit points, and this can have an effect upon monsters and so forth, and also maybe affect
that's
them.
a good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, and it just changes the way you talk about things. But I've got to go with like the Wolf Sapphire hypothesis and say actually, changing the way you talk about things does actually change the way you think. About
absolutely.
them.
Language definitely affects. Yeah.
Language affects forward.
Especially in terms of a role-playing game, the language that you use. People say that rules don't matter; you can do anything in any system.
Yes,
and while that is technically true,
yes,
the best type of true. Well, that is technically true. It totally ignores the fact that different rules and different language affect the feel of a game.
Oh, very much so.
Very much so, and you can't escape that fact that does happen.
Yeah, and it's just true of so many things. But okay. Well, I hope that this has been of use to some of our listeners, and certainly
I hope it's been of no use to any of our listeners.
Russ, you're such a curmudgeon. And the misanthrope. There you go. New words for you today.
Yes, but I insist on pronouncing it misanthropy.
Well, misanthropy would be the state of being. Misanthrope would practice misanthropy. They're completely different words for us.
No, but we're still with the E on the end.
Misanthrope, perhaps.
Misanthrope.
See.
Next week, or not just next week, actually, tomorrow, and I don't know when this will come out, but I hope it will come out in the next week or so.
Yes.
We are meeting up with Kevin Culp again.
Woohoo!
And he is going to run a short 1 hour Swords of the Serpentine adventure for us.
I'm super looking forward to that.
Because I won with Emmy Allen.
Yes.
On
the Stygian Library using Simply D6.
The Stygian Library.
You can't see this disapproving look I'm giving Russ. But please, I'm wearing my glasses. He's getting the full over the top.
That went really well, and lots of people listened to that one. So so we're trying it again with Kevin this week.
Fantastic.
And we're trying to keep them down to about an hour, so you don't have to take 4 hours of your time out and listen to the. It's literally an hour, and at the end of the hour, if we're in the middle of something, we'll cut it off. And it'll just be a cliffhanger or something, but.
Well, we shall try our best.
Yeah. And we'll see how that goes. If that one gets listened to a lot again, that might be something we'll start doing more regularly, I think.
Oh, I should get my character voice ready.
So you've decided your character, roughly.
Yes, I have.
Mine is going to be sorcerer, insect-themed.
Oh, nice.
Who I'm hoping your character finds a bit gross.
Oh, yes, I'm sure I'll find him very gross, my pretty.
And he's also very, very full of insect-based facts.
Oh, insect-based facts.
Which he's going to continually lecture you on.
Aren't you the font of all knowledge?
So that should be fun, yeah.
Yes, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah. So we're recording that tomorrow, and I don't know when it'll be out. Hopefully later this week, we'll see.
No, anything? Okay, so I think we may be finished.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I just want to sort of say quickly, our Pathfinder episode.
Well, say it
by
faster.
far,
Yes.
Yes. Most. You say it faster.
Yes. You said you was going to say quickly.
Most.
Every time you mention Pathfinder,
listened.
You go really slowly.
To.
Like last week when you were doing the news.
Episode.
Yes.
Of.
The past week.
The
past month.
Podcast.
The past year.
Ever.
Wow. So the past 61 weeks.
Well, at least, in its first week, because it hasn't had its full run yet.
No, indeed.
So it's still going up. Okay. But in its first week, it had the best first week of any episode of our podcast ever.
Oh, that's quite
Which
true.
is rather awesome, I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
So lots of people wanted to hear us talking about Pathfinder 2, apparently.
Well, I suppose we should probably talk more about Pathfinder 2 if you're interested. I mean, let us know.
Yeah.
And I think you've got a new... You had EN5 or Insider. As you insist on pronouncing it. That's clearly not how it's written. But you've got a new thing started on the old Patreon trail.
Have we?
Yes, Trail Seekers.
Oh, well, that's an old thing.
Is that an old thing?
Yeah, Trail Seekers has been going on for the same length of time as Insider.
Oh.
They were both launched at the same time.
Okay, so we'll just add this to the list of things that Russ in no way bothers mentioning on his podcast.
So Insider's the D&D 5th edition one, Trail Seeker's the Pathfinder one.
Yes.
The new thing you're thinking about is now Trail Seeker is covering 2nd edition Pathfinder stuff rather than 1st edition.
Oh, I see. You see, because that was literally the first time I'd heard of it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yes, truly you're a genius at self-publicising yourself.
Patreon.com/Trail Seeker. You know the problem is because I do so much stuff.
Yes.
That if I just listed everything I did every time, it would just take up the entire podcast.
Well, maybe we should do like a podcast listing all the stuff you've done. It might be relevant to someone.
Yeah, no, I do. So bloody many things. It's at the moment, the last week, I just spent going through this whole upgrade of the site, of course, which is another of the things that I have to do.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things that you do.
Yes.
So, good work.
So yeah. So Trail Seeker, patreon.com/Trail Seeker is Pathfinder 2 material.
Yeah, art promises to be very exciting. Lots of adventure modules and NPCs and all sorts of shenanigans.
Yeah, so there's 4 free ones, 4 free Pathfinder 2 things on there already.
Fantastic.
One of which is a short adventure called, I think it's called Mama Bear's Revenge.
Mama Bear's Revenge.
Yeah, so there's one with some new backgrounds and bits and pieces. So there's 4 free things on there already just to get you started.
Yeah, that does sound very exciting. They're getting in ahead of Pathfinder themselves, Come on, Paizo, keep up.
Well, I think they did manage to slip that little rule book out.
Yes, I suppose. 600
and the monster manual,
pages.
the bestiary, and the first part of an adventure path, and a standalone adventure, and some cards.
Come on, Trail Seekers, keep up.
Yeah. So that launched. I guess we're done then for the week.
Oh, how disappointing.
On Morris's unofficial
tabletop
puppy talk.
Yes,
I don't know how much puppy stuff will make it in, and how much will end up in the special Patreon only episode. But we'll see.
Do you like role playing games? Do you like puppies? Then listen to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk.
What sort of monster doesn't like puppies?
Woof woof.
At least he's settled down now.
Yes. Yeah. Complete with ear-shattering puppy squeaks.
Yes.
Truly, it's the best days.
Now, should we sign off then?
I think we should.
Thank everybody for listening. It has been an absolute pleasure, as always.
That's my line.
That's why I said it. You have to come up with another one now.
I've just been transported with delight and deliriums and euphoria.
I thought you were delirious.
Well, I must be to keep on coming here. I don't know why I do it, listeners.
Yeah. I would say until next week, but it might be before next week because we're doing the actual play thing.
Yes.
So possibly before next week, maybe next week, maybe before next week. Who knows? It will be a surprise to you and to us.
And probably to us, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely to us. We will be surprised.
You'll hear from us whenever that is.
Okay. So, that's a goodbye from him and goodbye from me.
I don't need to say anything now because you said it for me.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Apparently I now have to read this to you. This is the official podcast of Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG news, which you can find at enworld.org. You can find show notes at morris.podbean.com or wherever you found the podcast. If you feel like they deserve it, you can support the show on Patreon. In return, you will receive exclusive bonus content. Just go to patreon.com/Morris. If you're interested in his babbling nonsense, you can follow at Morris on the Twitter. Send your emails to morrispodcast@gmail.com. Not all of your emails, just the ones you want us to see. That's it. I'm bored now. You can go away. Shoo, off you go. Goodbye. Get out of here.